Do we really have to talk about this? An anonymous commenter asked, why is Caitlyn Jenner headline news? Really, how is this important in the world? Here's why I don't want to talk about this, because with any luck this whole subject will be completely obsolete in a few years. Over time in this country, we have become more and more accepting of people who don't fit into the arbitrary norms of society that we've created around ourselves. It's slow, it's very painful, and it's very incomplete, but generally there's a trend toward openness in our society. This can only be a good thing, but sometimes there are leaps. Short, accelerated bursts of openness that make it so that literally 1 year something that's totally okay is completely inappropriate just a few years later. Just for an example, I was a huge fan of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I watched it so much that literally I took a typing class in high school, and at the beginning of every class we were given 10 minutes to type whatever we wanted. Throughout that year, in those 10-minute increments, I actually wrote, word for word, the entire screenplay to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And of course there's that famous scene in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure where they're in medieval England and Bill thinks that Ted got killed and then he finds out that he's alive and they're overwhelmed with happiness and they hug each other and then they recoil and go, "Back." And that was really funny when that first came out. That was one of the funniest jokes in the whole movie. Flash forward a few years to 1992 when Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey came out, and in that movie they recalled that scene in a scene where the two of them were about to be thrown off a cliff by these two robot versions of themselves, and to try to keep them from killing them they say, "We love you. We love you." And then the robots yell, "Fags!" and push them off the cliff. Catch you later, Bill and Ted! And I remember I saw that in the movie theater, and as I was watching it, I was like, that doesn't feel right. Now granted, they did call them fags and then throw them off the cliff to their deaths, which gives it the air of sort of a hate crime, but still, in 3 years it went from like the funniest joke in the movie to feeling totally inappropriate. Maybe we're on the cusp of another wave of acceptance, this time with transgendered people. And that would be a good thing. I will say I wish it wasn't Bruce Jenner that was doing it though. I hate reality shows in general, and the Kardashians are just like everything that's wrong with everything. I wish it didn't come from that. I wish it didn't have that pedigree. And I hate that they're making a TV show about it. It just reeks of opportunism and narcissism, and it's gross. And it's gonna make people not take it seriously. People who are gonna think it's all just done for attention. Which is a ridiculous thing to think, but I understand the cynicism. But this is just one person. One totally overexposed, high-profile person. This is not the normal experience of most transgendered people. Here's the reality of transgendered people. 40% of transgendered people at some point in their lives have attempted suicide. That's a true fact. 40%! Just think about how huge that percentage is. That's almost half. What if almost half the people in band tried to kill themselves, or half the people in the chess team, or half the kids that played Dungeons and Dragons tried to kill themselves at some point in their lives? That would be unimaginable. And those are the nerds! Think about how hard it is just to lose weight and get in shape, okay? Transforming your body from one gender to another is a huge undertaking. You gotta take hormones, which by themselves do a whole lot of weird things to you. You gotta, gain or lose body hair. You gotta gain or lose weight. You gotta learn how to dress yourself all over again. If you're a guy, you gotta learn how to fix your hair and do makeup. You gotta have surgery, sometimes a lot of surgeries, which are really expensive and, needless to say, really painful. It takes years, and then you have to maintain that for the rest of your life. And then there's all the personal stuff. You gotta completely change your identity. You gotta get people to call you by a different name. Friends and family, a lot of them won't do that, and you're gonna lose a lot of friends and family. It's gonna be a big challenge up at work. Sometimes people lose their jobs. Nobody goes through all that for a fetish. This isn't just a cry for attention. Transgender people go through all this because they are so desperately uncomfortable and unhappy in their bodies that their choices are either to go through all that or to take their own lives. And I'm not going to try to claim to understand why this happens biologically, spiritually, whatever filter you use to view this issue through. All I know is everybody has a right to be happy, and if that's the kind of thing that somebody has to go through in order to be happy, oh my god, more power to you. And if it takes something like the Caitlyn Jenner circus to give somebody who is suicidally depressed the courage to go through this transformation into happiness, then I don't know. Maybe it should be applauded. Just a side note, you can go on YouTube and look up videos of people who have gone through a gender transition, and some of their stories are really amazing. One fairly common thread that I saw in a lot of them, especially in the male to female transitions, was a lot of these guys massively overcompensated before they finally decided to do the transition. Many of them struggled deeply to deal with these issues, these feelings that they've had their whole lives because they've been told, because of the way they were brought up, that it was wrong. So they went as far the other direction as they could. They played football when they were a kid. They drove big trucks. They joined the military. They lifted weights. They got really big. Anything they possibly could to prove to themselves that they were a man. Until they finally just couldn't take it anymore and decided to transition. Some of which are almost impossible to believe. You know, I used to see these guys driving around in the big trucks with the truck nuts and the redneck paraphernalia and all the alpha male BS all around it, and I would see that, and you know, like a lot of people, I would joke, yeah, that guy's got a tiny penis. It's a joke we've all told, but I have to say, after looking at some of these stories, I now kind of wonder if they're actually dealing with some gender issues. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, that's a real thing that a lot of these guys go through, and it's given me a new perspective and a new empathy for all of these alpha douches. And then I think about that 40% number, and that's just of the people who actually transitioned. Think about all the people out there who just never had the courage to do it or suppressed it and have just had to deal with those issues their whole lives. All this negativity, the self-hate, crippling depression, before finally succumbing to things like drugs and alcohol, or killing themselves. I really wouldn't be surprised if a lot of suicides out there are because of issues like this, but people never really talked about it, and so nobody really knew. By the way, if you are dealing with these kinds of issues, I think it goes without saying, please talk to somebody about it. Don't just hold it in. Don't be ashamed. Talk to anyone. Talk to a random stranger. Talk to me. Just do something. Don't go down that path. And the last thing I want to bring up, by the way, there's a lot of people out there that are just uncomfortable with the idea of transgendered people. And if you're one of those people, I just want to say to you, it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. Like, I'm not that comfortable around really old people, okay? And nursing homes just really freak me out. It's just, I've always been that way. I don't know why, and I'm not proud of it. It's true. But I would never say that because they make me uncomfortable that there's something wrong with old people or nursing homes. If you're uncomfortable about the idea of transgendered people, I mean, it's okay. Transgender people are unusual in the sense that they're not the usual. As long as you understand, even if they make you uncomfortable, they've got their place in this world. They deserve the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness just like all the rest of us. So Caitlyn, sincerely, good luck. I wish you all the best. Just don't screw this up. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for watching. If this is your first time here and you like what I had to say, then click the subscribe button up above. I come back every Monday with cool and interesting perspectives to make you a little bit more interesting around your friends in the water cooler at work. If you want to help me out, click the like button down below. It tells Google to send this out to more people. Hit me at all my social media places, and if you have a question, you can hit me there or down in the comments, and I will make you smarter. That's it for now. Hope you guys have a great week. Love you guys. Take care.